For this build, you'll need
thin EVA foam. These are about half a centimeter thick. Thin EVA foam.
a 9-volt battery holder and a double AA battery holder, so 2 AA's, and 12-volt LEDs in green.
So what it is, I got these 4 little stencils and I layered them onto each other, which will give you this little doohickey, which is the final sword. Then I scaled it up to an A4 sheet of paper, and then compacted it so that it's as close to each other as possible to save space, because the acrylic sheet is an A4 sheet of acrylic, and to do this you can just make a new Photoshop document that's 210 millimeters by 300 millimeters, which is an A4 sheet of paper. You don't have to use Photoshop, it's a bit expensive. You can use Word or Paint, but that takes way too long, and I just downloaded Photoshop because it was faster. Anyway, so this is what it's gonna look like when it's scaled up, and it's just imagine that one A4 sheet is this thing. It is pretty huge. Okay, so I will just say now that I did not make this. It comes from this guy, who I will link because that would be scumbaggy. And also, you don't really need this because you could just eyeball it, but I'm gonna leave this exact picture plus the hilt as a PDF so that you can download it if you need.
Once you've printed that out, you can grab the sheet of acrylic that is an A4 size that I will link in an eBay page too, which gives you an A4 sheet of green fluorescent green acrylic, and you are going to have to get the printouts that are perfectly scaled, connect them all tip to end just to make sure that they're the right size, and then continue, which they should be, and then you just want to get the blades and then put them onto the thing. You want to have a bit of clearance at the top for your LEDs, so you might want to trim it a bit just for your LEDs. Now you're going to want to begin cutting it out. Now I'm using a rotary tool with the regular cutting disc. This will break when you do it, so just be prepared to replace it very often. The end product you should get should be around the lines, but not on the lines. As you can see, if you look anywhere here, if I just wipe the dust off, you can't see any lines because all the lines are over here. You want to cut outside the lines to give yourself as much leeway as possible on the final cut. So do the same for all these, and I will see you after you've cut everything. One more thing. Wear dust mask. This is just this is just dust from one little cut. So and acrylic can be poisonous, very toxic if you inhale it. So please wear dust mask and some protective eye gear. Now you're gonna refine the lines until they match exactly to the edge. Right now it doesn't because the cutter is a bit like, odd, it's a bit edgy, it's a bit dodgy, so I made sure to cut a bit away from the line so I give myself leeway, like I said. And then you want to just get a sanding disc, a sanding tool like this one, to just refine the line so that it's closer to the line. And then once you've done that, you can get a buffer and make it smooth and shiny. Remove the backing from the acrylic and you should get some really shiny stuff. Like, it's about 5 p.m. and this is shining so brightly. I'm really happy with what color I got. If you go to the link, you should get fluorescent green, but if you just search up fluorescent green like acrylic, you should get the color you want, exactly this color. It's a bit yellowish now, but that's because I don't know how to explain it, but once you shine it through with green paint, it's going to be fine. I mean, not green paint. It looks yellowish now, but once you shine it through with green LEDs, it will look fine. So you don't need to remove the backing. As you can see, I've done it for like 5 minutes and it's already gathered so much dust. But it, but dust is so easy to wash off. Literally, just water will wash it off. So like tap water. But if you feel like you want to look at it like this for until you're done, you can remove the backing, but you really do not need to remove it. To achieve 12 volts, you're gonna need to run two batteries in series, because the way batteries work, you run them in series, their voltages add up. So two AA's will give you 3 volts, and one 9 volt will give you 12 volts. It's really not like you really don't. It's really bad to mix two battery types, but it really doesn't matter for a project is small, and I'm just looking for convenience rather than actual, utility. So this will work. Now, a typical battery holder will have red and black representing positive and negative, or power in, voltage in, and ground. So the red is usually symbolizing of the positive, and black is usually negative. So you run them in series, which would look like a circuit like this. Basically, the voltages add up. So you want the positive to line up with the negative leg of the second battery holder, and then you have your negative and positive of both. Okay, so now we're gonna solder this thing together. Now, since the last time I did this, these two battery snaps broke apart, so I have to restart, but it really doesn't matter. Anyway, so the double AA battery holder shall go at the back, and the 9-volt battery holder should go at the front. This is so that when you put the 9-volt battery on top, it will go above the wires, and that's like that. So this is the switch, and it's going to go here for reference, and the LED strip here, because this is where it starts. Okay, so since the 9-volt battery holder is closer to the battery snap as to the LED, we will solder the red to the red and the black to the red of this one. Okay, now once your solder's hot, you can grab your battery snap wire and attach the red one to the switch or the LED. It doesn't matter where you put the switch, as long as it's in the circuit in series, so that it can actually break the circuit and make it function like a normal switch. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the you can do it exactly the way I'm doing it, just for simplicity, but you can do it your way if you want. Just putting that out there. So I'm gonna twist up the red wire so that it's easy to stick the thread through the hole. Now this switch comes with a hole that you can just thread your wire through. As you can see, like that. And then once you thread it through the hole, you can just wrap it up. Now, once you've done that, you can just put solder on there to seal it up. You can do that for the other side as well. Once you have it done like that, you have just hold it in steady. You could get someone to hold it for you. Then all you have to do is touch it, touch the tip of the soldering iron with the glue, with the solder, and it will melt it. Then with the melted solder, just touch the wires. It should stick automatically. That was the first solder. Look at that. Look at that solder. So it's all sealed up, and there will be no breaks in the circuit. Okay, so you can take any wire you want, an extra wire if you need to, and cut it. So I'm gonna use the wire off this because I don't need all of this wire to connect to the battery snap. So I'm gonna take my scissors and cut it off here. You still want to give yourself a bit of leeway. So yeah, and then this may be a bit harder to do, but you have to cut a bit of it off and then stop, so that you don't cut the whole thing off. You just want to cut off the plastic, and then the plastic plastic shielding insulative. I don't know what, I'm just rambling. And then you just want to pry it off. So once you've gotten a bunch of the plastic off, you can just peel it and strip the wire so that the bare wire is showing. You can use this now as a connector. So I'm going to connect this wire to this and the other end to the LED. Now you're gonna want to get the 2 battery snaps. And again do them positive to negative. Sort of one negative to one positive. I told you how to do this before with help of color and with help of the colors, because the colors are pretty important. And now that is completed. Now whenever someone says electronic circuit, you can think positive, negative. Okay, now let's grab some batteries and test this out. Okay, so you want two AA batteries and any 9V battery. Now, with this 9V battery, you can plug it in any way you want, as long as the big head goes to the small goes to the big. Yeah, I'm sure you've used a 9V battery before. Now, if you press the button, the LED should work. Yay!